Phantasm, the delusion of a disordered mind, a phantom, a spirit, a ghost. Hey folks, this is Matt once again, and welcome to the final videos of the films that Ben, aka Exodus 1, and his brother sent to me. Very kind for him to do so, and this really badass thing, I cannot believe still that he sent this to me. This is just unbelievable. The Phantasm box set from overseas. Now, in this video, I'm going to talk about the first Phantasm, as well as talk a little bit about this box set, and then videos after we'll talk about Phantasm 2, 3, and 4. I did hear there's talks of making a Phantasm 5. At the same time, though, I take those as much as when they said they were talking about Evil Dead 4, you know, a big grain of salt. Because you hear about it so much, and I remember one time there's going to be a Phantasm 5 that Bruce Campbell was going to be in it. It would be like an apocalyptic future, like big war, something like that, you know. But you find out a little bit in some of the features in this. Now, when you pull out, you get this here. Now, I guess there's a sphere thing, but that doesn't matter to me. I didn't think I'd ever get this anyway, and the fact that this guy was nice enough to send this, which had have been expensive as hell, I don't really feel like I deserve it. I really don't. I'm an asshole sometimes. I've gone too long in my videos sometimes, and I'm very filled with hate. But the guy was still nice enough to send this to me, and it opens up like this. Now, as you see, each one has a certain film. Like this talks about Phantasm 4, a summary of what's on it. And this talks about Phantasm 2. And then when you open up more, you got Phantasm 1. Okay. Where is... Oh, whoops. The back is Phantasm 3. And then inside here is the first Phantasm. And it is a 5-disc set. Yeah, I can see like there. Each disc has red lettering and it's black. So like Phantasm 1, and each one has the same lettering, but like a 2, a 3, a 4, stuff like that. Now behind each one of these, as you can see, I'll put this up. If I take the disc out, there is a little bit of the poster. Like there's Phantasm 1 and this is Phantasm 2, which I am going to be watching. And on top of that, you have Phantasm 3. And you got Phantasm 4 Oblivion. Is there anything behind the bonus disc? Yeah, I think it's the golden sphere, I think. And then there's also, it looks like, I guess there was something here. See, it looks like there's a flap, like something's there, but oh well, it doesn't matter. But there's also this cool looking thing, Trick and Treat. I mean, obviously it looks like a pumpkin, but Trick and Treat. And of course, on the bonus, well, on each film, to go through the features, on Phantasm 1, you get an audio commentary with director Don Coscarelli, A. Michael Baldwin, who's the star. He was the kid in the first film. He was also going to be in parts 3 and 4. And Bill Thornberry. And then you have an introduction by Angus Scrimm, deleted scenes, original trailer, and behind-the-scenes footage. Then Phantasm 2, you have Fangoria TV spot starring Angus Scrimm. It says TV spot, but it's a little bit misleading. It's mainly, he's at a 1989, I believe. He's at Fangoria convention. It's about 9 minutes long. He's talking to the audience. You have a TV spots trailer and an audio commentary with Don Coscarelli, Angus Scrimm, and Reggie Bannister. Phantasm 3 has an audio commentary with A. Michael Baldwin and Angus Scrimm, and a trailer, photo gallery. And then Phantasm 4 has audio commentary with Don Coscarelli, Angus Scrimm, and Reggie Bannister. And then the bonus disc, you have Phantasm Genesis Featurette. The Genesis Featurette, kind of misleading title. It's mainly about behind the scenes of Phantasm 3 and 4. Phantasmagoria is a really good documentary on the making of the films. You got Reggie Bannister, you got Angus Scrimm, Don Coscarelli, A. Michael Baldwin. It's too bad they couldn't get James LeGros, but oh well. Yeah, Phantasmagorical Mystery Tour. Reggie Bannister listed some of the locations. Fandom, when they talk about some of the fans, including a few of the fans have actually helped work on the films, which was cool. And then an interview with Greg Nicotero, who did work on Phantasm 2. Really good stuff. Now, of course, in this part, I'm also talking about the first Phantasm. Now, the first Phantasm, of course, was directed by Don Coscarelli. Now, this is a guy probably most well known for the Phantasm films, but he's also done the Beastmaster, which I believe was a project that he had a lot of problems with. So I don't, even on the documentary, you heard a little bit that Beastmaster wasn't really the best production for him. That maybe he had problems. Maybe it was a budget problem. Maybe just production problem. It'd be nice to hear a little. Maybe there's more on it. Who knows? Maybe if I review the Beastmaster one time, I can find some more information on it. Bubba Hotep. I actually do enjoy Bubba Hotep. And I'm looking up all his films. He had done Jim the World's Greatest and Kenny and Company before this film. After this Phantasm, he got the Beastmaster. But then he went back and did Phantasm 2 in 1988. Then he did a film called Survival Quest. I have not seen Survival Quest, but I've heard good things about it. It has Lance Henriksen, Catherine Keener, Dermot Mulroney, Mark Rolston, that's Drake from Aliens. Seems like a pretty interesting film. I'll have to give that a look sometime. Let's see. Then he did Phantasm 3 and 4. Then he did Bubba Hotep. He did Incident on and Off a Mountain Road, which I think is for Masters of Horror. And then he has a new film called John Dies at the End. So, actually, surprisingly, I didn't realize he hasn't made that many films. From 1975 to 2012. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 movies. Wow. For some reason, I thought he made more, but, only 11 movies. But Phantasm, the first one, I will admit, I've never really been the biggest Phantasm fan from when I saw it way back when in the day. I remember when I first saw it being pretty much bored with it and just, I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't get it. But seeing the film again, I do appreciate it a little bit more than I did back in the day, Phantasm. Basically, the film takes place, like I said, it was made, I think they were making it for a few years, actually. to the point I think they were actually filming on weekends or something like that. But it came out in 1979, and you have Angus Scrimm, who does a really great job as the tall man. Uh, Long story short, you have this kid played by Michael Baldwin, who his parents have died, and he has his brother Jody, played by Bill Thornberry, who's helping raise the kid. He's about 13 years old. One thing leads to another. The kid starts seeing weird stuff. For instance, the tall man uh, like lifts this big old casket by himself, and at the beginning of the film, you have this woman kill this guy, who a little bit later on they have the funeral where the kid sees a tall man carrying this casket. And at the beginning, this guy who gets killed by this woman, the woman turns into the tall man, so the tall man like can look like the woman. You see a little titty, or a big titty, you know. And long story short, he starts seeing weird shit. He follows his brother one time who's about to get it on. He sees a crazy fucking killer dwarf zombie chasing after him. There's another moment where he's working underneath the car and he hears some shit, and like the Jaff falls away. He's like stuck underneath the car, to the point where he wants to investigate what's going on. And he finds that, you know, you have these not only zombie dwarfs, but you have these balls, of course, that great thing. Make sure the camera spheres going after him. He's barely dodging them. You have the tall man chasing his ass, and to the point he cuts the tall man's fingers and he puts them in a box and shows his brother. And when he sees it, okay, there's some shit going on, and then that finger turns to a little fucking dust moppet little monster fucker that attacks them. And I forgot that Reggie Bannister, who's of course really famous in this series as Reggie, he's not in the first film that much. Of course, his character's an ice cream driver. He's not in the film that much. I mean, he's in there like a handful of times, and then he's there when the little monster's trying to attack them, put it down the garbage disposal. Another point where it's basically the two brothers trying to deal with the tall man, and like there's a car driving and they're shooting at it, and you find there's a dwarf there, a zombie dwarf, and they find out that it's actually the person they buried before. And apparently the tall man is taking bodies and shrinking them. And one thing leads to another. When they get to the mortuary, or the mausoleum, I should say, the mausoleum, they find out that he's taking these people, shrinking them down, and putting them in these canisters, and like shipping them off to another dimension, another planet. I think they said planet, to pretty much use as slaves. And you know what? I never realized that this guy is an alien. I don't know why. I always thought he was like a demon or something like that, if it shows how much I know about Tallman. But I always thought, like, apparently, I guess, it even says that when Angus Scrimm got the call, Don Coscarelli says that, okay, you don't be playing an alien. So I didn't realize he's playing an alien. But yet it's also supernatural and zombies and stuff. You know. But yet he's back in the olden times, where you find out, like in part 4, or even in the photograph in this one, he's a nice guy. So did he get possessed, or did they just kill him and take over his body, or did they just clone him, or impersonate him, or infect his mind, or I don't know. I don't know. But I mean, they said he's an alien, pretty much, right? You know, there's another planet. He's going there and sending people there, and like Reggie Bannister hits like you have these poles that you can get through it, and he grabs them, and it's fucks shit up. And Reggie gets stabbed. You think he's dead, and then the two brothers try to face off the tall man, and like Jody creates a trap, and the little kid gets attacked by the tall man, and makes the tall man chase him. The tall man falls into this like mine shaft, and Jody, the older brother, posts these like boulders to fill it up. But then it cuts away, and then we're led to believe that was the whole movie was a dream. But then you have the tall man saying, "Boy, grabs him and fucking takes him into the glass or whatever, the window, and then this alien dwarf pulls him through the window and the mirror, I think the mirror, and then maybe he's dead and the movie ends. You're like, what the fuck happened? I mean, I guess that's the point with these movies, is that you never know what the hell's going on, or but after 4 movies, when you still don't know what the hell's going on, it kind of gets irritating then. Especially in the sequel. Like, Phantasm 2 is probably my favorite because it's more of the action version of Phantasm. But in Phantasm 2 at the beginning, they still will go with the fact that it's a dream, but then when he gets pulled in, Reggie goes up and fights it off, and then the house blows up, but then the kid was in a mental institution, and yet Reggie thinks that that part, when his house blows up, was a dream. And I'm like, so what the fuck's going on? And then you go back and you see that the house is still standing, but then that blows up. Like, okay, wait a minute. Did anything in the first film happen? And if that's the case, then, the ending that says, is that a lie? But if that's the case, did they just infect Reggie's head to make him believe it was a dream? And even by Phantasm 2, are they still affecting him, making him believe it was a dream? Like, did he do all that in the first film? Or did he not do it? Or like the beginning of the first film, did that ever happen? When Reggie is fucking up the dwarves and the house blows up? Or did that not happen? So if it didn't happen, so that whole opening is useless? But then, the house blew up, but then obviously they go back, but it's fine. Then 5 seconds later it blows up again. I'm fucking confused already. I'm sure there's smarter people out there. I'm just an idiot. But then I'm an idiot. But that's sort of my problem. I mean, I understand you don't have to have everything explained to you, like served with a silver spoon, but, I think there is a difference between being ambiguous and being, this doesn't make any fucking sense. I'm getting annoyed and I want to give up on it. So that's my big problem. And also the movies never have a conclusion. Maybe that's the point. But it's like, okay, all this stuff is happening in the story as leading to what? Anything? Is it leading to anything? I don't know. Is it leading up to anything? Like, all the stuff Reggie and all these people are gone through, is it all for anything? Or was the whole series a fucking dream? Or, I mean, that's what kind of just annoys the shit out of me. I mean, this comes from a guy that you can see back. I love Jacob's Ladder. That's a mindfucker of a movie, and I love it. I like Angel Heart. But this one is just. But other than that, I must say, Phantasm, I can't say it's a bad movie at all. I like the acting, Reggie Bannister, which he's not in the film that much, I didn't realize, but the two brothers, Michael Baldwin, Bill Thornberry, I especially like the older brother, Jody character, Bill Thornberry. Thought he was really good. I thought Michael Baldwin did fine as the kid. The score by is Fred Myro and Malcolm Seagrave, it says here. They did an excellent job on the score. It definitely fits a mood. It's definitely an interesting plot. You know, getting, alien doors and going into dimensions, and you have this crazy shit happening, and, Angus Scrimm makes a very memorable bad guy as the tall man. It is a slow-moving film, but it's one of those slow-moving films that, I could deal with because the actors did a fine job. The story's definitely somewhat interesting. Um, I like the two characters. I thought they actually were likable. I didn't think they were that dumb or anything like that. Uh, it was definitely interesting movie. It's definitely a weird film, but it's also one of those films that I really was not a fan of the ending. The whole movie's a dream, but maybe it's not, but maybe it is, but maybe it's not. And then it's like, well, how come Reggie doesn't remember anything, or was it all really a dream? Or but yeah, obviously it wasn't. If the tall man is real, but yeah, Reggie doesn't remember anything. So was he brainwashed? I mean, that's the thing that just confuses shit out of me. And I'm sure someone will try to explain. I'll still be asking questions about it. But maybe that's the point, is for you to ask questions. But it got to the point of annoyance. But maybe it's one of those things you try to explain and your head will fall off. But I must say it's definitely a well-directed film. I mean, the spheres, well, that was a very ingenious idea for a weapon, for a villain, a weapon. Uh, it's definitely an interesting film, I must say, watching it again. It's just the ending especially gets pretty confusing, but I didn't like the fact that Bill Thorne, like, that's the thing with the other ending, like, he pushes the boulders, the older Kara Jody, which was I really liked, and then you find out, oh yeah, he died in a car wreck. What? Like, what the fuck? Like, how? What? When? Even? What? I like that character. What? What? He was dead all this time, or what? Did the tall man kill him? But yet somehow, maybe they explain better in the sequels. I haven't seen the sequels for forever, but either way, um, I do like. I liked Phantasm. It's just. Um, I know I like Phantasm 2 a lot more. So next time I'll talk about Phantasm 2. Catch you later, and we'll see ya. Ciao.